All right, we're live here, so I say good morning to everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, MODEX.
Good morning. I love the lapel pin there, the Modula. That's nice. Very, very nice. So we're joined with David Lind of Modula. He's the sales director over there. So, David, tell us a little bit about Modula. What it is that you guys do?
So, Modula is the manufacturer of vertical lift modules. Vertical lift modules really are vertical warehouses helping customers exploit the vertical space in their buildings. So that sounds very simple, but it solves lots and lots of different problems in the warehouse or in the factory. Think about people walking around and picking up their parts and for putting together kits.
Right.
In a traditional warehouse or factory, you've got lots of walking to do. With the modular VLM, the part comes down to the picker, comes down to the operator, saving space, saving time, obviously allowing you to exploit the vertical space and greatly reducing the chance of picking the wrong part, because there's all sorts of technology that helps the picker pick the right part.
Yeah, and I think it's such an interesting space because as we look at space and better utilizing space within a building, an operation, a warehouse, whatever the case may be, I think it's so important to be able to maximize on that. So as we look at those, automated storage systems like you guys are offering, I mean, how does that kind of maybe redefine the life of a space, or redefine the type of space even that we can utilize for fulfillment?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kevin. So Modula was born in Italy. Italy is a country defined by the Alps in the north and the Apennines go down through the middle of it.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot of space.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go vertical. If you look at our cities, Naples, Milan, Rome, you go up, you don't go wide. Whereas where we have our factory here in the US, in Ohio, the tradition was to go wide and go low, go wide.
Lots of space in Ohio.
Lots of space. There isn't that much space in Ohio. There is, but not when people want to get access to their goods faster and be closer to their customers. So with the advent of organizations wanting to be more urban, you kind of have to go up. If you're not utilizing a vertical space, you're just wasting a lot of money on all of that air you're paying for in the building. So instead of thinking of the factory or the warehouse on a square foot basis, you got to think of it as the cube.
Right.
Cube is kind of king. So if you go into any factory or warehouse today, most of the time you'll probably see the first 10 feet utilized and 20 feet above it totally wasted.
Right.
Modular gives you back that. That's one part of it. The other part is that with the advent of automation here picking up and taking off in the US, technology like the VLM and Modula's technology, it kind of democratizes automation and fulfillment. So once that was the field for large organizations where the price of entry into automation was very, very high. Modular gives you the opportunity of playing with the big guys with automation that's very accessible to any wallet, for the small startup all the way to, we have companies that are blue chip giant organizations that utilize it because all the advantages that it brings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's such a great point too, where you said that, you see the first 10 feet often utilized and you're missing all this space above, and the cube is king. I love that. That's a very good. So, I mean, I think it's really interesting because it also kind of extends the life of that building, or how much longer you can use that for kind of adjust and things like that. So, I mean, I guess I'm curious, because we're seeing a lot more of this automated storage retrieval type of systems and things. I mean, at what point should an operation or an organization kind of look at that? I mean, if they're doing a new building, should they be looking at something like that out of the gate, or should they be getting to a certain capacity level? I mean, what makes sense to start looking at this type of solution?
Yeah, 100% from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on the organization. Companies go through all sorts of transitions, right? If you've got the luxury of sitting down today and thinking about how you want to build your warehouse, how you want to build your factory, and what you want to do, then you should come to the conclusion, I got to use my height, because you're not, you're going to pay for the square footage for the site, and the more you utilize, the better. So you really ought to think about building higher. With a VLM, given that your products are going on trays, the higher the better. So we've got VLMs that go up to almost 60 feet tall.
Oh wow!
Right,
That's all.
And you're talking an absolute massive amount of storage on that in that tower. I mean, the average VLM that we sold last year is probably about 4,000 square foot of storage on it, on 100 square foot of footprint.
Oh wow!
Which is a massive gain for the organization. But if you think about SVT and you think about Modula, as two organizations that work together. SVT is simplifying complex problems for its customers.
Right.
It's making it, it's not dumbing it down, it's just making it faster, making it easier, and allowing people to get what they want to get without having to spend a huge amount of money and do it quick. And the VLM does the same thing in a warehouse and a factory. So it really is a match, not necessarily made in heaven, but they very much have a similar vision on what people are looking for. So SVT was an obvious choice of partner for us, and I believe vice versa, because we're kind of solving the same sorts of problems.
Right.
People want to optimize. You want to improve, you want to get things faster, get things done. Just think 20 years back how we used to do intralogistics and logistics.
Oh yeah.
You know, great
totally
big
changed.
Technology was the computer. That was
Yeah.
the biggest benefit. Today it's you know, be able to click together different technologies rapidly, get what you need as fast as you can, get it out the door as fast as you can. Customers are expecting immediate solutions. They don't really get all the complexity that goes behind. Just think about designing and building a VLM.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's hugely complex.
Yeah.
But what are you buying? You're buying solutions to your warehouse organization that solve, you know, that simplify your issues. That's the beauty, if you like, of both these organizations.
Interesting, yeah, and I think it's so great that you recognize that partnership and the value of the SVT tool as well. And I'm curious, as you've partnered with SVT now, I mean, what kind of integrations, what type of things have you been able to do for maybe some examples of for some customers where they want to, you know, take one solution and then pair it with your solution as well?
Yeah, so we sent one of our VLMs, our smaller VLM, the Modula Slim, down to SVT's lab down in Norfolk, so they could put it into the sandpit and play with it, and integrate it with as much robotics as possible. Really, the customers, as I said just a minute ago, they just want to simplify. So if you've got a factory or a warehouse that's got cobots, AMRs, any other types of automation in there, as an end user, I just want them integrated. I don't really want to hear about the issues, the problems, the IT expense I'm going to have to put together.
I just want it to work.
I just want it to work. And why can't it just work? So if SVT is slipped in there and said, okay, I'll take on that problem. I'll just make it work and make it work properly. So our customers would say, I've got such and such going on in my facility, and I can see the value of a VLM. Now, how can I have the value of 1 + 1 = 10? So what the VLM will do is it will facilitate the utilization of other technologies. Because if you think about what a robot and a cobot is trying to do, or an AMR, they're going around a facility to pick something up to bring it someplace else.
Right.
The VLM will allow them to pick up whatever they want from a position that'll always be the same all the time. So it greatly simplifies where a cobot has to reach and where an AMR has to go. In our factory in Franklin, Ohio, we've got a suite of our products with AMRs and cobots that are showing customers how to pick off pieces or totes from the AMR, from the VLM, and take it wherever they want to go. So I encourage anybody who's listening who wants to solve complex problems to contact Modula and come up to our factory in Franklin, Ohio. Come and see. We use our own products. We've got 7 of our own VLMs in the factory.
Nice.
We've got AMRs and cobots. We don't have SVT deployed there yet, but we will. Once our soft bot's produced, we'll be using that in our own facility.
All right, fantastic. And I'll be wanting to come over there and check that out as well and see what that looks like. And I think it's so great to be able to see a solution provider that uses their own solutions. I think that's a fantastic thing, and that's a great way to demo and see those types of things and what the possibilities are there. So it's really fantastic that you have that and have built that out. So as we look at the kind of the future for Modula, I mean, what's entailed in the future? What do you guys have in the pipeline maybe? Share with us.
Great question, thank you. So we are a company that is highly innovative. The VLM, the first VLM was created, Modula was created 30 years ago, so you might think that's an old product being regurgitated in the market, but it's not actually the case. Modula has an entire suite of products to support automation in factories and warehouses and fulfillment. We have a new product we've just launched, the Modula Next, which is kind of like a vending machine. Sometimes you get asked the questions. The products come out in front of the operator currently on the lift on a tray. So you could potentially pick anything from that tray that you want, even though the technology will tell you what to pick. If you wanted to, you could pick something else. The Modula Next, with a series of roller doors, prevents the picker from picking anything other than what is supposed to pick. So it'll provide only a
Nice.
single slot,
Yeah.
like a vending machine. We have the horizontal carousel that provides very fast fulfillment. We have a new product I can't talk about yet. It's coming out later in the year.
Come on, you could tell us.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
can. So it's going to be working on totes and fulfillment. You'll see it. We'll launch it certainly at the next MODEX or program.
Okay.
But really, we're a great organization for listening. We get out to see our customers. We get out into the marketplace, and we listen. You know, what problems are you trying to solve? The thing about Modula is in the name. Modula comes from modular. So you can start really small with one single VLM and build your entire fulfillment or factory automation system around it. So that is what's interesting about Modula in this context. So you can start small and build and build and build onwards with all different products. They're all integrated. We have our own WMS system. That is what we're working with SVT on to help easier access into that. But we're great listeners, so bring us your problems, help us understand what you're trying to solve, and together with our partners across the country and in Canada, we will help you solve those problems.
All right, fantastic, and it's been a pleasure to learn about Modula here. And I think anything that's taking your space and being able to get the most out of it and get the most capacity as possible out of that building, I think is such a big win for organizations right now, especially as we see rents are kind of staying consistent, even still increasing, and it's just a challenge is you need to have that growth, but if you're not maximizing that space and being able to put the solutions in there that's going to allow you to do that, then I think you're missing out on a big win. So it's great what you guys are doing at Modula, and it was a pleasure to learn from you here today, David. So if people want to learn about Modula or get in touch, what's the best way to do that?
Modula.com, probably the best way. Modula.com. Come and visit us in Franklin, Ohio. We've got sales colleagues all over the country. But go to Modula.com. Just leave you with the last thought. If you think about everything we're trying to do in this planet right now is get more out of less, use less materials, better utilize what we've got. The same applies to your space. Get more out of less. Instead of building a new building, building onto the new building, that's expensive and time consuming. Just get more out of less. Modula is a very strong partner for your sustainability drive as well. Uses very little energy. All our materials, it's mostly steel. It's recyclable, reusable. The Modula is reusable, redeployable. So it's not a one shot, buy it, use it, consume it, and then bury it. The Modula has a life cycle of about 20 years, and you can reutilize 99% of the parts.
Oh, wow. Very nice. And that's good to know, and definitely, I think, important for a lot of organizations as well. So thank you for leaving us with that last little tidbit there, David, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thanks very much.
And I hope you have a great MODEX this week. All right.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, sir. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, the New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesAreSexy.com and get your own.